that's pretty much my life.
Grant Purpura, a 22-year-old from Stamford, Connecticut, has his life based around one sports team, the New York Mets. Grant started getting into the Mets and baseball in general when he was 5 years old. His dad, Gary, got him into the sport as Gary started playing baseball when he was 5 as well. Gary loved sharing the same experience he once had of starting to play ball with his son, and there's one memory that always comes to mind.
I can remember putting a wiffle ball bat in his hand the first time, out in the yard, and just assumed he was right-handed, and he looked absolutely terrible. He was, he could barely, he just started walking. He couldn't hit the ball at all. I said, well, let's try the other way. He tried to hit it left-handed, and bang. I'm like, oh, okay, do that. That's good.
Coming from a Mets-loving household, that became Grant's favorite sports team from a very young age. As he was playing Little League, he wanted to be just like Mets shortstop Jose Reyes.
I remember Jose Reyes was definitely my favorite player at that time. I remember like in the backyard, I would always like pretend to be him. I had his jersey. I would pretend to like throw like him, like the same way he threw.
Grant went on to play college baseball at Drew University, but along the way, he discovered his true passion. In 2014, Grant created the account Jenny Mets Report. G is for Grant, E is for Einbinder, the last name of Grant's friend who founded the account with him, and NY is for New York. He founded the account with his friend Josh because he wanted to tweet about his favorite team and favorite players as a fan, but it has gotten him pretty far. In the first year of the account, Grant tweeted to retweet if third baseman David Wright was the face of baseball. He didn't expect what happened next.
I got a notification that the Mets retweeted it, the official Mets page, and Jacob deGrom retweeted it within like 3 minutes. And at that moment, my phone just started blowing up. Like I was like freaking out.
The account has blown up over the years, having 45,000 followers, including broadcaster Michael Kay, as well as John Boy Media and SNY. Grant wants to do work in social media for his favorite team, and he thinks he has a good chance to do so. He has a relationship with Will Carafello, the Mets director of social media, because of Jenny.
He followed my account like a year after I started it in 2015, like when I had, I don't know, maybe like 4,000 followers at the time. And I'm up to 45,000 now and just hit that today. And he actually invited me to a game this year, and like I met the whole social media team. So I like my chances.
Gary is very proud of his son's account as he recognizes how important it is in Grant's life.
That Jenny Mets account that he started when he was 14, he switched colleges a couple of times to play baseball. It's got him into, a couple colleges. It was, his college essay was based around it. It's got him a job over the summer with the Renegades. It's got him, he's connected with some social media people with the Mets. It's his career. I mean, that's what he wants to do.
Grant has also made some connections with Mets players through his account. One of those players is ex-Met Marcus Stroman, who Grant says is the biggest supporter of Jenny. Grant has always been a big fan of Stroman's, so Stroman's support means a lot to him.
The way he pitches, like I modeled the way I pitched after him. Also, I love his confidence. I love his positivity. And he actually invited me to a game, got me tickets, and signed a jersey for me, and I have that framed in my house.
Stroman, now a member of the Cubs, was able to get Grant batting practice passes this year when the Mets played the Cubs. During BP, he was able to meet Mets player Luis Guillorme. Later in the season, Grant wanted to go to a Mets-Yankees game at Citi Field. Luckily enough, someone offered him tickets on Twitter.
And I get a notification that Taijuan Walker, that's starting pitcher, DM'd me asking me how many tickets do I need. I was like, what? So he got us 2 tickets for me and my brother, pretty good seats, and that was really cool.
Grant goes to lots of Mets games, and most of the time he buys the tickets himself. He's been to more than 300 games in his life, going to a season high of 20 this year. The 20th game was Game 1 of the Wild Card Series against the Padres on Friday. Grant loved the atmosphere at the ballpark, a crowd that hadn't experienced a playoff game in 6 years.
When I got to the game, Citi Field was absolutely electric, obviously, because it was the first time since 2016. stadium was packed. It was jumping. With the player introductions, I had chills the entire time.
Even though they might not have needed it, Grant had a game plan for how he was going to get the crowd as loud as possible throughout the game. He tweeted from Jenny before the game that the fans should yell Darvish as loud as they could to try to distract Yu Darvish, the Padres pitcher. The tweet got attention from a couple guys in the New York media.
Someone mentioned me saying that your tweet was just featured on Carton and Roberts' show. I was like, no way.
There's a Twitter account, Jenny Mets, Geny, like Generation Mets. They are trying to get every Met fan,
oh boy,
to
wear black.
chant at you, Darvish, tonight in a taunting way. Darvish.
And the chant was actually working for like the first 2 innings. He kept stepping off, and it was kind of like a surreal moment for me personally, because all of Citi Field was chanting Darvish, and just to think like that was because of my tweet was just pretty crazy.
Grant has had a big impact on Mets fans through social media. One day, he hopes to have an even bigger impact as an employee of the team.